On day 26, we'll leave Palm Springs and head to San Diego. We'll go around the Salton Sea and look at it some. We get out early in the morning so we have plenty of time, and the sun is pretty low and kind of right in our eyes. We're going to take some of the side roads so that we can look at some of the agriculture in this area. We're driving along the eastern shore of the Salton Sea, and that's it over there to the right. We'll be going into the Salton Sea State Recreation Area and looking at the sea a little bit closer. This is the largest lake in the entire state of California. Currently, it's not very good water, and it's fairly salty and also has a lot of runoff of pesticides in it. It was formed when a levee broke on the Colorado River, and it took them a year and a half to fix it. The water flowed into this low area, creating the sea. It became a recreation area and several cities formed along it. We're going to be looking at Bombay Beach and also Salton Sea. Within about 10 years of all these recreation cities being formed, it started flooding as water flowed in from the two agricultural areas and often flooded the shoreline. And then it also brought salt and pesticides, killing off most of the fish. Today they're trying to restore this lake. There are still people who come here for recreation. This is part of that state park, and you can see what the land around the lake looks like. There are no rivers flowing into it. Now we're going to look at Bombay Beach. It was formed in 1960 as a recreation area and a resort area for people to come to by the water. There's about 20 square blocks. Today, about half of it is lived in and half of it is not lived in. There are high levees along the shoreline to keep the water from backing up into the city during flooding time. At one time this was abandoned and only a handful of people lived here, but now it seems that people are starting to move back in and live here. Here you can see those high levees that are put here to keep the city from flooding. And now we're going up on top of the levee and look at the water from the seashore. As we drive back down into the city, you'll notice that some of the houses are totally abandoned and others are lived in and fixed up very well. Here you can see some of the old buildings that are fallen into disrepair and ruins. And then there are other houses right next to them that are very well kept up. I would estimate that in 2022 that about 2/3 of the town was occupied now. Now we come to the Bombay Drive-In. It's basically a bunch of old cars set out here in boats, and then they project on the side of a trailer.
Head south on Avenue East toward 4th Street. In 600 feet, your destination will be on the right.
Next we move on down the road and we come to the Bombay Opera House. We head back up on top of the levee again, and there's many art installations here made out of old driftwood and other things. And now it's time to leave the levee and drive back through the town and head on our way.
Turn left onto 4th Street.
On down the road we come to Mundo, California. It has basically a modern town with stores and other places to shop, electricity, water, and etc. But we haven't come to see it. We've come to go out to Slab City. At Slab City, there was a Marine base here at one time, and slabs were poured down for various buildings. They tore the buildings down, but the slabs remain, and now people have moved out there and say it's the only free town in the world. There's no government, no electricity, no water. You just do what you want to do. Let's look at Salvation Mountain as we come to it.
Continue on Mill Road for half a mile.
As said, in Slab City, there's no rules, there's no law, there's no government, there's no taxes. It's just people scattered out across an area, living the way they want to live and not interfering with each other. This is called the Church of the Enlightenment. I'm not sure what kind of church that is. Looks kind of weird.
Take the next left onto Coachella Canal Road.
Now we're driving on through Slab City, and you can see the various ways people live here. We're headed to East Jesus, an art center. And now we have arrived at East Jesus. It has various art installations here that a man has been working on for years. Some of them are kind of weird, to be honest. Then we head back through Slab City and it's time to leave. You can see the various motorhomes just sitting out here, people living in them, and we head out around the end of the Salton Sea through those agricultural areas. Here's an alfalfa field and haystack, other agrochemical places that are here. It's runoff from these areas that brought all the chemicals into the Salton Sea. Those runoffs are now limited by keeping the water out of the sea and limited irrigation. That stops the chemicals from going into the Salton Sea, but it also stops the water, and so now the sea's drying up. It has various toxic chemicals on the bottom, so as it dries up, it forms a dust that blows around and is very toxic. And here's one of the canals that is used for irrigation in this area. As we head back up the western side of the Salton Sea, we pass an immigration checkpoint. And now we're coming to Salton City. Salton City is a more modern city, as you can see from here. And it is mainly inhabited by people who seem to have built new homes here in the last 20 years or so. Salton City was formed in 1960, and by 1970s, the water was flooding into the area from the shore, and they had to abandon the seashore and marina. Here's a camping center, and now we're heading to San Diego. We head out through the desert and badlands, and then on up into the mountains. We've now started to climb into the mountains between the Salton Sea and San Diego. Soon we're starting to see more and more vegetation as we go up, and we're changing from a desert to a more wet environment. As we go over the mountains and start down the other side, we find even more vegetation. We spot some California mule deer beside the road. There's about a dozen of them out there. They don't seem to be caring that we stop or that other people are driving by. We take a rest break at one of the state parks located along the mountains here. Soon as we get down, we start to enter the edges of San Diego. We'll be here for several days. In fact, we'll end the trip here basically and head north to Los Angeles to fly home. Our hotel is located in downtown San Diego. It'll be the Best Western Plus Bayside Inn, and we'll park in the garage so that we can unload. And this brings us to the end of day 26.